Hi, this is Hank reporting from Kyiv, and this is my update on Russian-Ukrainian war. Let's see what happened around Ukraine in the last 24 hours. The most massive attack on Ukraine. Woman shuts down a cruiser missile with MANPADS. Attack on Sumy. Attack on Odessa. Russian losses summary. Okay, let's start with the massive shelling of Ukraine on Sunday, the most massive so far. First of all, I'm alive. Secondly, we seem to have fought back with relatively low losses. The Russians inflicted damage on us, destroyed part of the power grid and killed civilians, but based on the crazy number of missiles of all possible types, the losses could have been much higher. In this picture, you can see how these missiles approximately flew. In total, the attack lasted from about 2 a.m. to 10 a.m., about 8 hours. So all of these flew in waves. I'll say this, one arrow points exactly to the place where I live, and I was lucky that this missile was shot down, thanks to the Patriot system. Next, the detailed statistics. In total, during this attack, the Russians launched 210 air targets at us. Of these, there were 120 missiles and 90 drones. As you understand, they specifically stockpiled these missiles for 3 months. The following was used. One rare and expensive hypersonic missile Zircon. Only about 40 of them were produced and each cost over $10 million. It was launched from a battleship. 8 aeroballistic missiles Kinjal, also at least $10 million each. 101 missiles X-101 and Caliber. That's a hell of a lot. One X-101s cost $30 million each and Caliber missile cost half that, about $6.5 million. One ballistic missile Iskander for $3 million. 4 cruise missiles X-22 for about $1 million each, and 5 new missiles X-59, they're cheaper, $500,000 each, and 90 drones of various types from Shaheds to dummies. Total cost of this entire attack is about $2.5 billion if we take the known prices for missiles and do not take into account the associated costs of maintenance, personnel, aviation fuel, and other expenses unknown to us. They used 34 different aircraft and 4 battleships. Hundreds of people participated in this war crime. It all costs a hell of a lot, and what did the Russians get in the end? We were able to shoot down on land 187 missiles and drones out of 210 using electronic warfare and anti-aircraft systems. It's a goddamn miracle, 89% of efficiency of our air defense system. In this video, our heroine Natalia Grabarchuk, a former kindergarten teacher, shoots down a cruise missile with MANPADS. Watch with sound, please.
Попала? Попала, Наташа, попала! Попала!
This lovely woman is a real heroine. I'm proud of her. And damn, I have a question. Why are strong and brave Allied troops so afraid of shooting down Russian missiles that fly and fall in Moldova, Romania, Poland? It turns out that Ukrainian women are braver than foreign professional soldiers. Results of the attack, for which the Russian people paid more than $2.5 billion out of their own pockets and for which they will pay after the defeat in the war. We all understand that they will have to restore what they have destroyed. Thus, these idiots paid for the production of these weapons and they will pay for the results of their use and moral damage to those who suffer. I want my compensation. So the Russians hit infrastructure facilities in several cities. There were power outages in Kyiv and Odessa, but we have already restored the power supply and critically important enterprises and hospitals have survived this period and generators. In the Dnipro region in the southeast, 2 railway workers were killed while performing their tasks. In the Lviv region in the west, a woman died. Debris from a Shahed fell on her car. In Kyiv, the roof of a house was on fire from falling debris. In general, all hits fell on power plant facilities, that is, the Russians are repeating their trick, an attempt to deprive us of electricity. Well, to be honest, the results are so-so. I would not pay $2.5 billion for Odessa to sit without power for a day. Kyiv is now working on power outage schedules, but This is no longer news for us. In the end, I'll say that the president did not deceive us and they really have significantly improved the air defense system. I'm again grateful to all the countries that gave us or sold us the equipment that is saving us from these damned missiles today. I tried to figure out the list of events for the past 3 days to put everything in order, but I already lost count of the destruction and victims. After a massive shelling on Sunday morning, at night Russia shelled Sumy near the northeastern border of Ukraine and 11 people were killed and about 70 were injured, including 10 children. It was a missile hit an ordinary residential building, you see it in this video. Then today, on Monday, they attacked Odessa with missiles and killed 10 people, including doctors, police officers, and civilians. 46 people were injured. I can show a video from this thing on YouTube because there is a lot of blood and in the principle it's hard to watch. This blog is here to state the fact the Russians have increased the number of attacks and all the assumptions about some kind of agreements with Trump about appeasing Putin are nonsense. We are alive only because they have not yet managed to kill us and the Russians have no restrictions, literally none at all. And we do not fire these missiles, do not hit these airfields so as not to anger Putin. Thank you, go Ukraine. The whole planet is gassing. Have they allowed Ukraine to defend itself properly? Have they untied our hands? Can we defend ourselves or let's save Russian bombers and not our lives? I'm writing this on a laptop under the light of a flashlight because our electricity was turned off. To hell with all this. Russian losses are the only thing that lifts my spirits today. Minus 1,560 bastards, minus 15 tanks, minus 38 armored and minus 107 regular vehicles, minus 30 artillery systems. The rule of the game is simple: the fewer Russian soldiers in Ukraine, the closer peace is. Well, I have a few interesting topics for the future, including the anniversary of Ukraine's nuclear disarmament. I'm now collecting information on how that happened in the 90s. That event literally became the reason why we're now trying to survive in a war against a neighbor who is attacking us with our own weapons. Yeah, I'm sure we were idiots if we gave up our weapons. Never give up your weapons. Lesson learned. Also, President Zelensky gave an interesting interview to our local radio and then visited Pokrovsk in the Donbass and Kupiansk in the northeast. These are two of the hottest destinations right now. Say what you want, but this guy has balls. I also have a unique story from a personal sources and I'm still thinking about whether I'm allowed to tell it. I'll leave a small cliffhanger here. That's all I want to say for today. Take care and I hope to see you tomorrow.